And we are live.
Good evening.
Good evening. You are not going to move for most people on the stream. I think that's a bandwidth problem, but you are audible, which is more than enough. I would have thought.
Yes, that's good. I could turn off my camera if it's not going to move.
Yeah. What I didn't do is create a scene that has your. You know what? Let's. There we go. Give you a roughly symmetric icon. Nice. Okay. Cool. Normally we shit talk for a bit before we get into any coding, and I definitely used my brain enough today to be up for some shit talking. What shit do we have to talk about?
I don't have much shit to talk about. But I mean, we always say that.
And then carry on for like an hour and a half, then realise we haven't got
Yeah.
time for any coding. Yeah.
Right. So we can see. Yeah, so no, it's been, a full week of getting, you know, of doing stuff and seemingly never enough. But today is Proto Friday for me
Yeah,
because
because like Sweden is a bunch of work shy socialists.
that and also very Christian.
Right.
Uh,
Okay, a bunch
and
of
so
work shy Christians. Yeah.
yeah, and so there's some Christian holiday tomorrow.
Hmm.
And like a proper Swede, I took off there's an idea in Sweden called klämdag, which is literally squeeze day.
Okay.
So when you have a holiday, you take the day that falls on a Tuesday or a Thursday, and if you're really taking the piss, if it falls on a Wednesday, then you take the days off between the holiday and the weekend.
Nice.
And so I have done that,
Yeah.
and so today is Friday for me.
So which holiday is it? Because I,
Ascension.
oh wow, because I live in a country with an official state religion, which you don't, as I understand. Um,
No, Sweden definitely has an official state
okay, right.
religion. Yeah. Um, they are cagey about whether they actually believe in the religion or not, but they definitely do all of the
All
things.
of the observances.
So
Yeah, okay. Those are like
yeah,
Catholics. So,
Lutheran. Yeah.
yeah.
So they get baptized, but they leave the Jesus-y shit out of the baptism.
Right,
It's
right.
really weird.
Hmm.
I don't know how you get baptized and try to leave the religion out of it, but
Well, I think the CIA have good techniques for doing that.
right. Right. Yeah. So they all of the Christian holidays that I didn't know existed when I grew up in Canada
Hmm.
exist in Sweden. So, and I often don't even take off Swedish holidays
Hmm.
because I don't really work with Swedes. So, but this one is nice. The 100% Jesus meat free Christianity. That is an excellent description of religion in Sweden, actually.
Well, and now
Um,
now that we've seen that CIA recruiting advert with the cisgender general anxiety disorder suffering intersectionalist Latina, um, yeah, we now know that. Oh, and also self-described millennial. We now know that my CIA joke was perfectly egalitarian.
right, right.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I think all CIA jokes are perfectly egalitarian, but now they've made it clear.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Uh,
So
yeah,
that's uh,
there was a there was a commentator on British media who said that only macroaggressions from the CIA.
right, right.
So I don't know
So
whether we want to kind of like rescue this stream by talking about GlueStep relevant content, but Basically the minute that I stopped the stream last week, um, everyone released a new version of the GNU libs.
Yeah, and two of those are I have working updated ports for them, but the dependencies are so big that I have a lot more work to do than I thought I did.
Yeah, and
So
I think actually the ports tree on this thing has already been updated. I can't remember. Uh,
it's in user ports.
yeah.
And then I don't remember where it is in GNU
No.
where GNU step itself is in.
Uh,
You can use make search name equals or that.
Or that. So I
Uh,
think if right, there we go.
It'll be in the top of the make file probably.
That's good. I'm not a FreeBSD expert. So
There it
that's
is.
still 0.27, which is not new.
Right, but you also have to be on the Git ports tree to get the latest ports.
Yeah,
and you probably use port fetch.
I thought I had port snap installed.
Oh, maybe it's port snap. I can't remember how I do it because I'm on on my FreeBSD machine. I'm on the Git ports tree so that I could monitor the updates.
I'm pretty sure that I have done that. No, I haven't. Okay, never mind.
All right.
I think some of them updated, which was a problem I encountered in trying to rescue the computer last week. So let's look at the GNU step releases, but I'll just quickly kind of do a retrospective or like an after incident review of hosing the computer last week. Because we got to a place where we had the problems with Gorm, and we decided that maybe we were using the wrong versions of the libraries, because we had this issue where Simple Agenda was reporting that it was linking two versions of every class. So I tried to I uninstalled the version of GUI that I had built from source. Unfortunately, what this did was removed the understanding that GNU Step GUI was installed from GNU Step Make, and then that meant that GNU Step Make wasn't linking the GUI frameworks. In fact, it wasn't linking the base frameworks either, and so programs weren't linking anymore. So what I ended up doing was I basically completely destroyed the GNU Step installation. I reinstalled the library packages from ports, but what then happened was that because some of the apps packages have been updated, that's it. It's not that the libraries have been updated, it's things like the terminal app package have been updated. They now rely on a newer version of GNU Step GUI than the port for GNU Step GUI, which means that they don't work because they won't link against the existing version.
Oh, well, that's a nice feature.
It is a nice feature. And so the way that they have fixed this is that they've marked all of those ports as broken on FreeBSD 13. So, doing a package update just hosed the computer completely because none of the apps would launch. And then trying to replace them by building from ports wouldn't work because the ports were marked as broken, and so you couldn't install them. So we now have a working of sorts computer where all of the GNU Step libraries, so base GUI, back and make, are installed from ports or from package, and all of the apps are built from source against those versions. But because this is an incredibly fragile system, and any time we try to, as we did with anti-RSI, if we discover we have to like get the latest version of the library or build a new version of the library, we're going to basically screw the whole system up again in exactly the same way. Um, I don't think that this is a sustainable approach. So it's something I would like to look at, further down the line. Like let's make some progress with Simple Agenda, but after that, I would like to look at creating a development jail for GNU Step. So installing the library, the GNU Step libraries and GNU Step Make inside a jail alongside my source code, so that I can work on it without screwing up everything else on the computer.
That sounds like a really good solution. I also have a FreeBSD box that's going in the closet up north that we can use to build packages and stuff. So we can use that as our package source in the future. Hoping to get that installed on the weekend, and then we can use that.
Yeah, and I think the packages aren't maintained, so we could volunteer to take over maintainership of them.
I enjoy maintaining packages as a thing, and I think that FreeBSD is a good place to do it. So maybe that's a good contribution we can make.
But including that, I still think that having development jails, so that I don't break the tools I need, like the terminal and TextEdit and
definitely
EasyDef every time I screw up or Gorm, because so the other side of this is that the Gorm problem we were having was actually related to the library being broken, and I've rebuilt it from source, and after GNU Step, which is Greg Casamento, told me that he couldn't replicate the problem. My installation of Gorm was also hosed. So
right, it's very helpful that we get helpful emails from Greg after the stream to help us. We appreciate that.
Well, not only helpful emails, but he's also fixed bugs, and so the new version of Gorm that he's released includes fixes to issues that we have raised on the stream. But this one was the setup is hosed. I don't think that the way that the ports are organized on FreeBSD is going to make for a very easy non-hosable GNU Step development environment, and so that's why I'm still interested in supporting the jail-based approach.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of the way that the ports tree is organized is not. It's not always easy to find all the bits I need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Mov01 says, not sure if this will work with your streaming software. I've found it helpful to do GNU Step development on virtual machines, taking snapshots before updating the GNU Step install. Ironically, on our Amiga stream, link on the letterpress poster behind me, that is what we do. We've got a Windows box, and we use WinUAE, and I snapshot it at the end of every week so that we can either start up from that or abandon all the changes if we want to. I think that jails would give us the same, effectively the same thing. It would give us a playground in which to mess with the GNU Step libraries to the extent that they support the app we're working on, without modifying the environment of the apps that we're not working on, and then give us the ability to throw them away, or you can think of sort of FreeBSD jails as a slightly better thing than Docker, but 20 years older than Docker. It should work for that purpose.
Yeah, and I would also not say slightly better, but I might be honest.
Hey, Amiga Gamer 1200 is here as well. Good evening.
Welcome.
If this were a fully GNU system, then I would probably suggest using a Geeks environment, and then just creating a little effectively doing the same thing, a Geeks. I can't remember what it calls. It's sort of hierarchical configuration.
I think it calls them environments, and the
Right,
way that
yeah.
the Geeks package manager works, it is really brilliant. Actually, I think it works similar to Nix, and what it means is that you can link against libraries that you've only included in this environment, or you can link against the global ones, or you can link against a different environment, and it provides all the facilities for that. It would be nice to be able to use that at some point, because I'm not currently a Geeks user, but I'm following what they do, including their latest release, and I think that they have a lot of really interesting and well thought out solutions to some of the problems that people have with modern computing.
Do you know what the storage thing is in this Nook? Are they M2 SSDs?
Yeah, it'll be an M2 SSD, and if there's a second one, it'll be just a SATA SSD.
Right.
But
Well,
I think
there's only one in there, but I could buy another one and then install Geeks SD on this thing.
oh, that would be
Or
great.
the other option for a fully GNU system is you could create a subherd and do the development in the subherd.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, yeah. We just have to make some forward progress as well as exploring them.
Yes.
So, yeah, there were new versions of libraries released, like, as I say, sort of while I was shutting down the computer after the stream. They were all announced on the mailing list. So, for those of us who aren't subscribed to the mailing list, you don't actually have to subscribe. There is the thread index on the GNU archive. You can always see what discussions are happening, but it is a good place to go for infos. GNU make new version. Basically, I think the big story is better GCC support for storyboard files, which would be useful for people who are porting their projects from Cocoa. Better ARC support, and then also better support for Windows, which is 3 of the issues on here. Now, we had pretty bad times trying to get things to run on Windows, which was mostly our fault for not understanding Windows rather than GNU Steps.
Right.
But in parallel, Ricardo Matola was working on the Windows support and has landed a few new fixes in here. He has suggested, he has offered to come on the stream and do a guest stream, sort of bigging up Windows or Herd or both. So, like, we will definitely try to schedule that in the future because I think that would be really useful.
Yeah, I would love to see both of those. One of the benefits that I like to tell people about, even though I have no experience with it, is that by building for GNU Step, you get free software platforms plus Mac plus Windows from one code base. And I think that if you follow, some rules and hygiene, that's definitely true. And you possibly have to get the environment set up. You have to have better understanding of it than we do, which Ricardo obviously has. So that's something that it would be really great to have that to have somebody who knows what they're doing demonstrate using it.
Yeah, definitely. From a development perspective, you definitely need to know what you're targeting, and this is like a fact that we have covered on this stream before. But like Cocoa, GNU Step, OpenStep, like the set of APIs that GNU Step exposes was designed as a cross-platform API framework. It only happens that for the majority of its existence, only one vendor used it and only cared about their one platform.
Mm-hmm.
But it is quite a good cross-platform framework.
Mm-hmm.
So that's make. Then we got base. What is new? As we see, lots of improvements for Windows support and a load of other things. Character set before support, secure coding, which is a recent-ish change to the way that objects are archived on the Mac. Lots of things, basically.
Yeah, that's a very long list, and each one of those bullet points represents a lot of work. So it's nice to see.
Yeah, in fact, fixing initializing NSUUID from a string. I actually contributed the original implementation of NSUUID to GNU Step Base years and years ago. So it's good to see
And
that.
someone else fixed your bugs.
Yeah, it's good to see that my code is readable enough that someone else can reason about it.
Right.
So then we've got GUI. What have we got? Storyboard file support. That is like I kind of skipped over this a little bit in discussing it on Mate, but that is a massive improvement to the
Mhm.
to the workflow of porting a Mac app from particularly if you've got build tool and the Xcode lib.
Yeah, and this is something that I asked. I think I asked you about in private message last week
Hmm.
because I'm about to start a new Cocoa application, and I will probably do the initial development on my Mac. But my goal is to support GNU Step from the start because I want it to run cross-platform.
Hmm.
I'm building a GTD application, and so I want to be able to from the get go target all three. I guess the big
Hmm.
three.
Yeah, and it always used to be the case that like the easiest way to do that, or sorry, the thing that I found the easiest way to do that was to use Renaissance, which was the GNU Step based XML tool for declaring
Right.
UIs, um, which was designed to be the sort of interchange file format for a GORM replacement that never got built, but was easy enough to like read and write. The human with a
And reason
tech
about.
and reason about yes, that a human with a text editor could do it. Um,
Mhm.
and that was what I found to be the safest way to build a cross-platform Mac and GNU Step application because like you knew that it was going to work on GNU Step. You just had to test um, on Mac, and it was not incredibly foolproof. You had to use different main menu nibs for the two platforms because the the way that the Apple menu works is not the same as the way that the sort of Next style GNU Step menu works. And in fact, did we find that problem when we ran anti-RSI? Like some of the menus were laid out weirdly.
Yeah, we found that it was a little bit wonky on the FreeBSD system,
Hmm.
but it was still usable.
Yeah.
I think they have some very sensible workarounds for the fact that on a Mac you have the application menu which has quit and so
Hmm.
on. I think the default in GNU Step seems to be to give you an info
Yeah.
menu that allows you to do those things. So very sensible workarounds
Hmm.
for a lot of this stuff. So it's really nice to see Storyboard support, which I thought I had heard
Hmm.
um, was there, but maybe I was reading code or whatever. But now it's in a released version, which means it's something that I feel like I can rely on for my application, which is really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we've got GUI backend rather, which is the drawing library that GNU GUI uses for drawing, and there's now a Wayland backend. There's better window maker interaction, which is good because we're using window maker, and there's better Windows support again.
And actually, a few of these, and I also noticed in the previous one, there were a few fixes for bugs that I had noticed. There was the info bar flickering. This one has the app icon flickering, which I
Hmm.
think we've experienced on the stream. So yeah, so lots of great fixes
Yeah,
here.
nice. And
Mhm.
then finally, Gorm um, improved scroll view handling, improved matrix things. Matrix is essentially a sort of a one of the first versions of a collection view of sorts. You could have a button and then drag it out into a matrix, and it would just replicate the button cell, sort of however many times across the whole matrix. So that is a thing that has been improved, and other fixes. So yeah, it's good to see that there's development happening across the board. As you said, we've encountered some of the bugs that have been fixed in these things, so it's good to see that the work that the community is doing is aligned with what we're doing, and vice versa. That means that we're not like pulling in the wrong direction or trying to do things that nobody else wants. That's all good to see, and it's good to see new releases coming out.
Yeah, and I mean, releasing software is one of the hard things to use. So
I'm told that I am a lot quieter than you. The reason for that is that last time everyone complained about the electronic noise, I turned the gain right down on my microphone, which stopped the electronic noise but made me quieter. So hopefully I'm way louder now.
All right.
Game 1200 says that's better. Yeah, I definitely see.
There's no electronics noise today.
And now I see that my levels are going way off into the red every time I talk.
Those levels are weird because they intend for voice to fall in the yellow, which I always thought was weird. But now that I know that, it's better. So if you look at those levels and reason about them, then you can we can get better audio for all.
Yeah, I am now basically like clipping to shit every time I use a long vowel. It would appear, so I can only use German words. That might help. Yeah, there's a lot of inside baseball here, but weirdly, like that, the noise that people were complaining about on previous streams finally got loud enough that I could hear it through the built-in monitor on the headphones, and it was it was just happening when the thing got plugged in. I think it is a problem that comes from powering these microphones from USB. I might need to find one that's powered in a different way.
Yeah, that's possible. I think actually, up north, if you remind me after tomorrow, I have an audio interface for XLR mics that I do not use because I have the two mixers and my USB mic, which I haven't had any problems with. So I can send that your way, and you can get an XLR mic.
But the XLR version of the Blue is the same mic, but costs £100 more, I think.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't use. I don't use the Blue. I use a different one. So I don't know, but we can try and figure that out.
Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. So then Mov01 asked, and I had the browser window open in front of the chat, so I didn't see it. How far along did Renaissance get? Is it functional? It is entirely usable for the collection of GUI classes that existed at the time that it was done. I don't think it's been sort of brought forwards in a long time. We can actually stop bullshitting and start checking because this is all open source. It's on the internet. So the last commit was 3 years ago, and most of the commits were 13 years ago. And the last commit was a pull request from me.
That's nice.
Yeah. So it has not received a whole lot of love.
But it literally works exactly as well as it did the last time you contributed to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It does basically work. Any classes that have been added recently won't exist because the XML schema doesn't know what they are. You have to sort of define the attributes, after the way it's architected, there are elements in the XML document that represent each class in a GUI, and there are attributes on those elements that represent each of the properties that you can change on the on the object instances of the class. And so any that have been added to GUI since Renaissance was last updated in 2018 won't you won't be able to create them in a Renaissance document. Other than that, like, it will work. And it's not an ideal solution because like, you're just writing an XML document and then seeing what it looks like when you run the thing. So it's a bit like trying to use like XAML on .NET or on Xamarin or whatever. It does work pretty well cross-platform, as I was saying earlier. And as I was also saying earlier, the goal was for it to be like the interchange format for a new GNU-step GUI tool, which doesn't exist. So it hasn't sort of fulfilled that end.
Yeah, I think you do. Maybe you don't, but I think last time I did Android development, it was also just type out the XML, which sort of makes sense, and then your GUI is defined. So it's probably it's probably not too much to ask for people to write their GUIs in XML these days. Actually, especially if you get some kind of live preview or something while you're doing it.
Yeah, which of course Android Studio did. So. Yeah, I mean, if you could do that with the GNU-step, with the Renaissance file, it would be a perfectly adequate GUI builder.
Yeah, it might. Maybe that's a project for a future stream.
For quite a few future streams, I would have thought. It's not gonna be the work of like an hour and a half.
Right.
Right. So, do we have more shit talking, or do we get on with something?
I don't think so. I think we can get on with something.
Whoa. Okay, so what having recovered this program, having recovered this installation, and realised that the problem with Gorm was that I had introduced like incompatible libraries or something in Gorm and broken it. What I then found was that the work we had done on Simple Agendas so far, we had made a small code change to support the duration units and had hosed the Gorm file in a single commit. So we didn't, we don't have like an easy way to recover that isn't do all of that work again. And because Philippe Roussel had asked for new maintainers of Simple Agenda to fix some of the bugs that are listed in the bug tracker and commit those fixes in order to sort of move the maintenance along. We decided before this stream started that we would abandon the previous work we were doing on the duration and look at the bug tracker and decide what we wanted to fix. So we'll start with a clean sheet this week.
Yeah, no sense trying to mess it up worse for a third time.
But I don't know where his issue tracker is, because there are only 3 issues on here. 1 is closed. I don't think we could... while we would both welcome Nextcloud support, I don't think we're going to even set up a development environment within the remaining time on this stream. That would be homework to take off stream if we wanted to fix that bug.
Yeah, let's take a look at the calendar layout one and see.
So this one looks like it already has a pull request in flight as well.
Yeah, it does. Okay, if we go to the GNU-step discuss mailing archive, he might provide a link to a different bug tracker, or true. maybe that's the only one.
Let's have a look through. The existing issues in GitHub. So that is it. And the one that he wants is the CalDAV support for Nextcloud. So, or do you have a Nextcloud account, instance that we could just set up an account on?
I do have a Nextcloud instance we can set up an account on. I will set up an account right now. Let me log into my... and see how fast this goes. My internet is really slow today. And let me just go into users. And I will create a new user called GNUstep. And it will be, the password will be password.
Yeah, it looks like you're about to get, based on what is written here, it looks like you're going to have to give that password out in plain text over the stream anyway. So
yes,
don't get too. I would give it a tight quota. Don't get too attached to that account working properly.
Okay, so we have an account. I'm going to try and log into it now. So for those of you that don't know, Nextcloud is...
Oh yeah, let's do that thing.
Let me... let's see here. I do need to log in again because I think I created the user and then did not activate them.
Oops.
So let me do that. Go into users. And okay.
Amiga Gamer 1200 said, if there's an issue on the tracker related to inconsistent behavior in hours and minutes and conversions display, I'll fall on my ass laughing. No, that was a feature that we made up and broke all in one go. So yeah, while you're doing that, Nextcloud is a free software, self-hosted. I don't know what to call it, actually. They call it a productivity platform. It is a remote data hosting / syncing thing, but it doesn't have the features of software as a service. It isn't, like, if you wanted to kind of compare it with the feature matrix of like some other platform, we'd be here all night, because it can do what Dropbox does, it can do what iCloud Photos does, it can do what Evernote does, it can do what 1Password does.
I'm just gonna, I'm gonna log into the new account and we can show it. So so basically, for much of the time that I've used iCloud, that I've used Nextcloud, I've used it in place of iCloud or Google Apps, and it's very, very good at those things. So as a replacement for those things, it will sync all of your photos. It will do all kinds of stuff. You get file sharing, you get photos, and there's a talk app built in so that you can chat with the people that are on your instance. It also has federation between instances. There's a mail app, a contacts app, and a calendar app. Let's go into the calendar app.
It doesn't actually provide mail service though, does it? Is that like
no? It just includes a client.
Right. And
Yeah, it just includes
NVA.
an IMAP client,
Right.
basically.
Okay. Yeah.
And my instance is a little bit slow. And so by default, you get one calendar called personal. And very interestingly, because this computer's locale is English, when I use Nextcloud, it's in Swedish. So I wanted to check on that. So now what we can do is we can copy the primary CalDAV address, and now we can put that somewhere.
Yeah. Where we can put it is in Simple Agenda. Oh, that link probably doesn't work because I haven't installed Simple Agenda since I broke it.
Make sure you're on the master branch.
That was a good call. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I might just delete our other one as we're never. Do you mind if I delete it?
I do not mind at all.
So Amiga Gamer 1200 says Nextcloud has practically all the features I'd ever need, with one terrible omission: client-side encryption/encryption at rest. Yet it's focused for the.
It does have encryption at rest.
Okay.
But it requires some extra setup and stuff. This is something that I'm working on my own thing. So it is possible to get that, but it's not a default feature just yet. And I think, group dev, I think, is the correct one. And you can, there we go.
Okay, right. And so then we paste in there.
There you can paste in that. And click check directories and see what it says. And it may ask for username. This is the bug we need to fix.
Well,
so
no, we can put the
I think that's how it goes. It's possible. It's possible that the bug in the GNU step tracker said, because this I did see that as an item, that error message. So it's possible that it doesn't support the authentication.
Well, no, I think that it hasn't said unauthorized again.
Aha. Okay.
So if I copy, whoops. Oh, the command key doesn't work in that field.
Click 3 times.
All right. Well. Okay, so Command A doesn't work in that field.
Interesting.
And the menu isn't working.
It might have.
This is a modal. Yeah, that's why the menu isn't working.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Well. Anyway, what I'm going to do is quit and start again, because I think that with that if you supply the credentials here.
Okay. There we go.
Then we don't get the prop find. We don't get the 401. So it is authenticating, or at least it isn't telling us that it failed authenticating.
Okay.
But
and we should get.
We don't get a path there. We don't get a path there, and we can't click OK.
Okay. Shall we read through the discussion on that issue to see where everyone else got?
Yep.
You probably have to close that modal.
Oh, bollocks. And that one.
There we go.
Nope. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. So if we scroll down to this third comment, we can see that Letterus said the same thing and tried using check directories using the following paths. Sometimes no error. And then Yeah, and then using it without the username. So I suspect that the URL that we're putting in is slightly incorrect, because it provides those URLs. And let's see here. Okay, so Philippe says he got it working. And looks like he's fixed the problem.
It looks like it, but that was on February the 25th, and he asked
for
maintainers to fix the bug in May, and it doesn't work in master, which we're on. So
okay,
even if he fixed it, he never pushed that.
Yep. Okay, so let's take a look at that. So I suspect that if we use a different, my scrolling is really messy.
What would you like me to scroll to?
Okay, so let's see here. Okay, and I don't see an indication of which URL works, but I suspect this first one.
It looks like neither works.
Right, but I suspect that first one is the one that we expect to work, although I would expect Calendar's username to work. So why don't we...
What did we just try?
We gave it up to before it said Calendars, just to Dav.
Yeah, okay. That is formatted weird, but yeah.
That is a weird formatting. And so if we then...
Nice.
Oh, that is weird.
It might be that I haven't rebuilt text edit since the great fucking.
Okay. Shall we go back to Emacs, the old faithful?
Yeah. That is the Emacs I also haven't built. I only realised that just now.
There we go.
So, right. That's the URL we gave it. But does that work in another calendar app?
That is a good question. I do not know.
Because if it does, then we could aim for having the experience where you paste that URL, which is the one we were given, and get your calendar.
So when I use the,
or we could so the other thing we could do is, where's the Nextcloud? That one. We could do if this turns out to be easier, we could.
That's the one that I have working in iCal. Okay,
and that is the full one. So this is probably MVP is probably getting that one to work.
Yeah. Okay, so shall we try that one?
Yeah, that is a good point. Is that?
No, that's the name of the calendar, so we want to call it.
Oh yeah. Sorry, that is. Yeah. And again, Command A doesn't work. That bollocks.
There we go. And then create.
Okay, then I will let you
press. If I want to watch the terminal.
Yeah, but can you type your?
Oh yeah, shit. Sorry about that. Let's just put it in here.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
There we go.
I wonder how many events have been created by watchers of the stream on that calendar. Because then we'd know. Yeah, if all the troll events have been created, actually show up in Simple Agenda, then we know we're done.
Right. So let's close this and start over. That is also probably a bug that needs to be fixed that we can we can take a look at as well. But let's go into info preferences and calendar factory. Can you do the copy and pasting, because my keyboard is almost definitely not going to work. Now you can grab it right out of Emacs.
Did you already put it?
I think I did, but I don't know if my meta key worked.
Nope.
So,
all right, well, I'll just type it. I'll type it in the right place.
At.
Yep.
There we go.
Okay, so that
did not give an error and didn't do what we expected it to.
Okay,
I expect appointment path to include the calendar that it found, so it should say personal.
Right. So what we should do is find out what this check directories does, what it expects, and what it actually gets.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, so let's. So
there's also a bug in that, like, the event handler for this button hasn't yet completed. This set of nested modals. Presumably, this isn't running in a modal event loop for the main app, and this is running in a modal event loop for this window, and has now blocked that button from being not clicked.
Right. Okay. So I guess we open the GORM file and find out what action is triggered by the check directories button.
Yeah. Do we know what GORM file that is going to be? Group dav, probably.
I would say group dav. Yep.
And now we've got a version of GORM that doesn't break my GORM files, and the file system works in the browser, which was a problem I had last week. So I definitely.
That's always a nice fix.
Yeah. Okay. So you were correct. It's this one. Check directories, connections, button clicked is connected to the button clicked on the NS owner. NS owner is a group dav dialog.
Perfect.
Right. Okay, so then in here we can open. Oh no, not one of those.
I thought it was group dav dialog. Is it in a different different folder maybe?
I don't see different folders.
No, I also do not see them.
Well, maybe it's defined in this group dav store.
Aha.
File. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
It is. All right, and then we're looking for button clicked.
Yeah.
There it is. Stop modal with code 1.
Oh no! That's if the sender is the cancel button, if the sender is the OK button, or the sender is the check button.
Aha. Okay.
So Control X did end editing. So basically, it sends the message that it sends the text field's delegate message that you would get if you hit enter in the text field. This is using some some sort of, it's not even higher order messaging. It's just using duck typing to say that the result of clicking the button and of editing the text field are the same action. So if we look up Control X did end editing, here we go. We get.
Okay, so we get a WebDAV resource, and then we're calling prop find on it, and prop find is the method that got the 401 the first time.
Yeah.
And we suspect it did not get the 401 the second time. So if we just, I'm just going to hit Control L there. And then we start parsing the response.
Okay, so what we need to understand is what response we actually receive.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to just print it?
Yeah, unless you know of a good, unless you know enough curl to just like type this shit into curl.
I may know enough curl. I think it's curl X is for method, so it's prop find, and then the URL,
Which might still be in the
in Emacs scratch buffer.
Yeah, and I forgot to. But now I've seen the password enough times and typed it that I can actually get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Looks right.
That looks right to me. Let's try it. Okay. So.
And we get a 200 status.
Yep. And so.
Oh, sorry.
And
we also get a 404.
Oh. Okay. Let's look for that. Oh, that is weird. Does it give us...
What do we get the 404 on?
Oh, that's on get last modified.
Right, okay.
It looks like, yep. Okay. And we get... step. I wonder if... Let's... The first address that it gave us in the copy, although I would prefer to use the Mac one if we can, but let's see what that gives us. That gives us a whole bunch of 404 not founds. And then I know from my work with Nextcloud, at least I think I do, that it's calendars. Because GroupDAV is also the protocol used for... Oh, I can't get a slash in there, but I don't think it matters. No calendars... node with... Oh, okay, so let's try personal. And that does not find that either. So let's... I guess we should inspect what we got the first time, which had some 200s in it. It is a bit hard to read without being formatted.
Yeah, well, we can...
We can output the...
Was it that one?
Nope, it was up 1, up 2, I think.
What? There?
Oh, sorry. In the bash history, remove calendars. So up to users GNU step.
Okay, right.
There we go, that. And then we can... use -O, I think. Or actually just pipe it to a file. Or redirect it to a file. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And that's a little better. So, what we're looking for is a calendar called personal, hopefully. But it looks like it wants us to now reference calendar proxy read.
Okay.
So let's try.
Okay, because
Yep.
what we can compare this to is what was this thing actually looking for, and it's doing an XPath search on prop stat, prop resource type v event collection, and v to do. Oh, sorry, there we go. It's looking for prop stat, prop resource type calendar.
Yeah, so I think what it's giving us. Yeah, what it's giving us, I think, is in effect a redirect saying you should ask. Right. Yeah. So if we now do prop find on
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm just less familiar with this output and this data format than you are, and I was trying to.
I am only slightly more familiar. And that gave us nothing.
Well, it gave us 200 OK, but it
Right.
didn't. There's no.
Oh, it's putting Amiga Gamer 1200 says to put the it can be picky about the following slash. Can you put a following slash on that? Because I can. We'll try that again.
That looks
and
the
it
same.
didn't give us anything different.
What about the first
I
one?
know. Yeah.
Oh, we had a following slash on that one. What about doing that one without it? Does that look different? No.
No, it does not. Now I am going to quickly look up group dev calendar.
Oh, you can do this on Firefox. You can do this on Firefox on the streaming box if you want to.
Yes, I can.
Share your home.
Let's do that.
So you need to change the other space.
Okay, and so I have heard stories that Nextcloud's CalDAV implementation is slightly different because it follows the specifications to the letter, and few of the clients actually implement the specification to the letter. So
is this like where Goodar says that every mouse in the world doesn't do USB mouse correctly?
Right. CalDAV list calendars, and we'll add Nextcloud in there. And let's see here.
Oh, that one, the third one looks good.
How to access calendar ICS file via URL. Let's try that. There is a way in. So what I suspect the code is trying to do is load. Prop find is saying, give me all of the properties that you support.
Yeah.
And then it. I think Simple Agenda is expecting it to give back a list of calendars.
Yeah, that looks right.
Yeah, now this is taking a long time to load.
Yep.
You must be running a stream on your internet connection.
If we're really unlucky, I'm running a stream on my internet connection and going via your shitty VPN.
Ah, right. Let's see here. So, this one, I think this is what we're using.
Yeah.
We're using the iOS CalDAV address. And, my scrolling is bonkers. Can you go up to the top?
Yeah.
The top result had a check mark next to it.
So that's question mark export, but I bet that is the. That might be the. Oh no! So DAV calendars username calendar name. Then export. Right. So maybe we've not tried that.
Yeah. So let's try that.
You did, didn't you?
I don't think I did. So DAV principles.
Yeah, we want DAV calendars.
Yeah, and so I think the prop find on principles says this is where the calendar is, and now does it say personal in there somewhere? There it is.
Is it?
Yes, it is. Right here. Can you see the mouse?
Yeah, I can. You know what?
It's saying. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna just paste that into Emacs and. And tidy it up a bit. So yeah, I did see that. There is our calendar link. But what type is it saying this is?
It's saying the response is resource type collection calendar.
Oh, okay, yeah, that may well match what. This is looking for resource type calendar though. So that might not be the same.
Right. And it is looking for prop stat.
It could work.
Resource type calendar. That is correct. Yep. So if we give it that URL, the dav calendars GNU step /personal, but that means that this does not.
Well, no, we give it dav calendars GNU step, and then it can find personal from there.
Yep. You're right. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Well. Oh bollocks! I'll just type it out again.
My understanding of CalDAV is that, which is limited, is that there's some auto discovery and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the proxy stuff is indicating.
Right. So there's. So this may well work, and the actual bug. The two bugs are. Did I include that? Yes, I did. Okay, that works.
Okay. And so now it says group dev from loaded 0 appointments and 0 tasks.
Calendar,
which is exactly what
Nextcloud.
we expect.
Okay, right. So the first thing we can do is we can go back to that GitHub issue, and we can just add a comment. I need to sign in. I need whatever shitty device I've got my 2FA on. I've put my phone down somewhere now. Oh, there we go.
I can give you my 2FA token.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, and I can type it into right keyboard. I could turn on numlock. Oh, shit. Oh, good.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, and you have it in dark mode, which means you're cool.
So
So I'm making a paper note here that we want eventually for Simple Agenda to do calendar finding.
yeah, I was going to put that in this issue write up as well, but you're right, because so.
That looks good.
Okay, so
let's try adding an appointment to that and see if it shows up in Nextcloud, or add it in Nextcloud and see if it shows up in Simple Agenda.
Yeah, both. Definitely both. So, as said, Topaz7841 is a spamming cunt, and I will just quickly ban them. While I'm doing that, Amiga Gamer 1200 says, is Stephen hosting on IPv4 or IPv6?
I think it's hosted on both. I think both are supported on the host that I'm using. It's not my own machine yet. It's a cloud hosting thing that I'm using.
Yeah, I get the impression from the the delay on IPv6, given that
Yep.
this is the person who raised the bug and says, yes, there is an issue I have to fix. I think that is an issue on the host's side, not an issue with Simple Agenda.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Yeah, and Philippe says that disabling IPv6 fixes the delay. So, okay.
Have I logged in as the right person on Twitch? I'm not logged in at all on Twitch. Right. Sorry, can you take over with some braining? Because I'm doing...
Yes. I am going to go into the calendar in Nextcloud and create a new event for... the objc retain stream, which is on the 19th is the next one, and we're going to say it starts at 8 p.m. because this is in my local time zone, and it runs for 2 hours. So I will save that, and it will show up in Nextcloud.
Agreed.
There it is. And now we can go look in Simple Agenda and see if it... Let's move this one.
Oh, Simple Agenda will be on the other workspace.
Ah, okay. So I will switch workspaces, and we'll switch to the 19th. And I do not see...
Is there anything you have to do to get it to refresh?
That is a good question. Let's see here. Oh, events reload all. And there it is. Not appropriately time zone handled, but there's the event.
What time zone has it put it? Oh, it's put it at 8 o'clock for 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, so but that's not a big deal. And now we will create a new appointment in, let's just create a test appointment. And it doesn't allow us to select the date, which is interesting. So I'm just going to add that and see where it shows up. I think it shows up on the current day. And reload. And I did not see it show up.
Is your event actually in?
It might have put it on this date. I don't know which date it put it on, but it didn't show up today, and it also didn't show up here. Let's see here.
And you got an error writing.
Yep, error writing to the personal calendar.
And if you look above, error 415, unsupported media type.
Okay. Now, so we've got can't create an event.
Yeah, so I will add that to the description here.
Okay.
What time did you have to finish this evening?
At the normal time, so in 42 minutes.
Okay, sure. So we have got plenty of time. So
Unfortunately, I don't have access to the logs in a way that I can see what it was trying to put. So what do we want to focus on?
we can look at. We can work out what it's trying to put from the codes.
Yep, that's a good call. So let's see here. Oh, hang on one second. Amiga Gamer 1200 suggests updating or adding to the entry we created in Nextcloud because 1, you may have an existing lock. 2, it will test if and how modifies are handled. And 3, depending on concurrent session limits, having one record open may be stopping you from uploading record 2. This is very helpful. Let's try that.
Yeah. Please don't feel bad about correcting us on the chat. That is one of the benefits we get from having chat.
So I'm just going to change the title and see what we get here. And it did write it. So updating seems to work. Let's take a look in Nextcloud. And see. It is not updated yet.
Oh, do you have to refresh the page?
I'll probably have to refresh the page. Okay. And then maybe if I click on the 19th...
now look, the time has changed.
But the time... Yeah, it reflects the time that was in there. So it did update.
Yeah.
Which is the time zone difference, I suppose. Yeah. Okay. So the I'm just going to make a note, and we can add this to the comment as well later. Update changes the time when the server and the local machine are in different time zones. Perfect. Okay. So let's take a look at what it's trying to do for the put.
Yeah, so if you look, one thing I noticed is that this is putting to URL that you gave it for the calendar / presumably some unique name of an event file, whereas updating. My guess is that CalDAV logically stores each event as a separate ICS file.
Mm-hmm.
And that here it's trying to put a new file with a name that it thinks is unique based on the name of the app, the time of creation, and the IP address of the client, which it's presumably getting wrong. And then this one, it is using the name of the ICS file that was given to it by Nextcloud, which was created by the Nextcloud calendar application.
Yeah. Okay, so Amiga Gamer 1200 has another suggestion. We've established that an existing record can be resynced to the server. To test a new record from Simple Agenda, I'd suggest exiting Simple Agenda for a few minutes.
All right.
Clearing logins and locks, and then try the put again.
So I don't think there will be logins per se, because I'm just going to go and turn the light on. Actually, a second.
Okay. I suspect
Because don't forget, it isn't doing any user management. We've just had to give it the username and password as part of the URL. So it
Right.
doesn't have any long-running session.
Right. Also, Move01 says also when writing a new event, there's an extra slash in the URL after personal. I suspect also, and this is just a completely dumb suggestion, that if maybe we put either pudding
.ics
doesn't
on the
set
end.
content type or .ics on the end.
Yeah.
And I think putting .ics on the end is a very simple change we can make.
Yeah. So we should look at what this, what request is being made and whether it sets a content type header.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess it, I mean, I would have thought that that's sort of table stakes for this stuff.
Although it does do the right thing in writing it, in changing the event. So that'll be a difference in behavior we can inspect.
Yeah.
So it's web dev resource request with method body attributes, and I think we can go over to here and just search for that request.
Yeah, but this isn't the web dev resource file.
Right. So it's web dev resource.m, and here I'm just going to search for request with method. There it is here. And it's setting the, let's see here. So it's setting the basic authorization header. And it's using write property string with format etag, and etag I assume is that file name.
Isn't that? No, that's the value of the if header, isn't it?
Oh, yep. Sorry, you're right. Nope. Yep. That's the etag.
So what it's doing? This is one level of abstraction too far down, because if we look up here, it's doing while enumerate over the keys in the attributes dictionary, and essentially set those as the HTTP headers. So we want to see where the instance of this is created that makes the put request.
Oh, right. We want to find the caller of request with method. Right.
Yeah. Shall we?
Okay.
Do we think we've quit the thing for long enough for?
Oh yeah, let's try that. Yeah, good call.
Right. So I imagine that. Yeah. There we go. Loaded 1 appointments.
And it's on the 19th, which you can see in bold.
But we don't want to look at that. We want to create a new appointment.
I'll create a new one. Yep.
Okay, and we got the same error again.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay, so we want to find the callers of request with method.
Yeah, I mean, effectively we want to find out whatever does the sync. Now, does this... Because this is an agenda store.
Mm-hmm.
And it has the resource. So can we find a put? Whoops. No.
Oh,
that's... Oh,
Calendar is the one we want. Task is for to-do items.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. And calendar is a WebDAV resource, so we want to find. We're using it. Did I
just add element?
Add. Yes. Okay. And so, ELTUID.
That'll be the file name that it's created.
Yeah.
There we go. Right. Resource tree put. Content type is text/calendar child set equals UTF-8.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, so the content type is set correctly, so maybe we just change the file name.
Yeah, which it looks like we could just do, just for purposes of like hacking shit in and seeing whether it works. We can just add .ics there.
Yep.
The other thing I was just wondering was that has got too many nils in it. That's not a problem because it will just terminate there.
Right.
But the other thing I was wondering was this is doing string building, and so we could actually do URL building. We could create the URL that is this path relative to this base.
Yes.
And then not have the extra slash. Now we can also hack shit by like removing the slash there as well, and that's probably the easiest thing to do to check whether what we are trying actually fixes any problems.
Yep.
Anyway, let's make some of that.
It's always important to use the URL building stuff because even though they look like strings, they are not just strings. So, okay, so new appointment. There we go.
No, same error.
Same error. Okay, so now we want to try it with the slash fixed, I guess.
Yep. I'm going to remove that one because we didn't know. Otherwise, we fix two things at the same time. Okay, and that didn't work either.
Okay.
So I'm going to revert that change.
So maybe it's not liking the format of the ICS that we're sending when we're creating.
Yeah, so we can see that we can see what it's creating, and then we could use like either a command line CalDAV client. You said you don't have access to the server logs?
I don't, not in a way that I would be able to figure out quickly.
Right. But
well, let me double check.
I mean, I would expect unsupported media type to. It sounds like the content header doesn't match the accept. header. So why text head?
It might not like text calendar. It might want it to be application iCal or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. There's like a V calendar name as well, isn't there? So what I was going to do was to I'm now going to stop typing. I'm going to copy. Oh yeah, but this won't. Oh yeah, that's not what I want to do actually. I want to do a put.
Aha. Okay, I do have the log. It says...
Yeah, okay, good.
Validation error in iCalendar. Only iCalendar version 2.0 as defined in RFC 5545 is supported.
Ah, right. And this...
And so...
This is version 1.
There we go.
So what we probably need to do is to A, add this to the comment, and B, update libical, I expect, before we can, or maybe not. Maybe if we just change the version number in in that
we can try
source
the version number
because they're probably backwards compatible. What was it? What version?
Version 2.0.
Well, let's just change that. We might find that libical, the old version of libical that this is using, doesn't like version 2, doesn't support version 2. So we might have to update libical. And that is going to be a bit of a yak shave because the API has changed between now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Amiga Game 1200 says hacker number 2 in there to test the theory, lol. Worst case, you break that calendar. I won't break the if I do break the calendar, I'm only breaking an iCal file that has been generated to sync one event. So we don't give a shit about any of the data in this account anyway. But it's not like I'm breaking the whole calendar. I'm breaking one event.
Yep. This account's being deleted as soon as we end the stream.
Okay, well now...
And it worked. Excellent.
That one. Go away. Today.
There it is.
Awesome.
Can you click on that and see if it gives us the location? Because the location is the only other metadata associated with that thing, and it does.
Nice. Well, I reckon we've got a pull request there.
I would say, I mean, yeah, I feel like it's weird to just twiddle the version number, but if it works, it works.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and this is the first time we've had any forward progress on this stream for weeks, so I'm taking it.
Go.
Status, git diff, literally one line change.
Yep. It's possible that version of libical supports version 2.0 anyhow, because it didn't complain using um,
Right, now make check. It doesn't have any tests. That's good. Haven't broken the tests.
the easiest way to not break a test.
Yep. So I
Okay.
need to fork simple agenda. Yeah, that one. Oh, I need to amend that commit and set the author. Why is terminal not responding? There we go. Right. Do you remember what it is? Is it?
I think it's just. I think it's just author.
Yeah.
I make that typo myself.
You're now Stephen Arbola.
That's what the ladies call me.
Nice. Okay.
Okay.
Nice. And can I do anything to visit a URL by... No. I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Oh, or just press that button there. I'll press that button there.
There we go.
Boom. Well, I can't remember how long it was since our last GNU Step pull request. Not that long, yeah, only a few weeks. But we have another GNU Step pull request.
That's great.
Yeah.
We're making the world a better place by by trying to
twiddle. We literally, based on the way that the ASCII character set is structured, we literally changed one bit in that application, and we fixed Nextcloud support.
Graham, every little bit counts.
Every bit helps.
All right. Well, that's excellent.
That's progress.
Okay, and we have a list of other things to. Maybe we should link this pull request in that issue.
Oh yeah. I should have mentioned. Now we go back. We go to my comment. So the possibly easy thing of the... what's your opinion?
Let's see. I don't actually know. I suspect 4 is probably a simple fix, but it will take a while to figure it out.
That was my assumption as well. So what we need to do is we need to check what time is in the events we receive from the Nextcloud server, what time we put in the events that we send back, and whether anyone is and who is ignoring the locale setting, because one of the two ends, if both ends are ignoring the locale setting, then it would be right, because you would be setting an event time in UTC, Simple Agenda would be setting an event time in UTC, everything would work. If both ends were doing it right, then you would be setting an event time in CEST, and Simple Agenda would be setting an event time in CEST, and everything would work. Or Simple Agenda would be setting it in BST. Is it actually right? Thinking about this, are we using a calendar in BST and looking at it on the cloud in CEST and actually seeing correctly a 1 hour offset between the
so
time
I think what's happening is, so when we look at it in Nextcloud,
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, when we look at it in Nextcloud, it shows up as, I think both are ignoring time zone.
Well, this is showing you that this is showing someone.
Yep.
That the event is at 10, but it says that the event is from 9 till 10. Please select a time zone. So the event presumably... Oh, bollocks, what have I done now?
It's a JavaScript app.
Yeah. So the event presumably doesn't have a time zone in. I think we need to dig into this some more. It is possible that everything is right.
Well, the only thing that was wrong was that when I opened up the event that I created and edited it, it moved it by an hour. It did
move it. You are correct. Yes. Yeah. So no. Okay. So I agree. Something is getting it wrong. So do I have settings? No, I want the calendar settings, don't I? Yeah. So okay. So time zone. Right. The events are being stored without a time zone and are being displayed in Europe, London, because I'm 1 hour ahead of UTC.
Right.
So this is a UTC time, and that is a BST time. And in Simple Agenda, that is the UTC time, and it's just being treated as UTC.
Right. Okay. This is when I used to think about calendar software problems.
Sorry. Mov01 said there was a log message about not being able to find a time zone. And here it is. Simple Agenda is actually trying to use the time zone GMT plus 0.
Oh, so the time zone that's written is in a format that Simple Agenda doesn't understand, I guess.
No local time zone specified, using time zone with absolute offset 0. So it is right. So Simple Agenda is using UTC because I don't actually have a locale set for GNU Step, and I don't know what the deal is with that. Whether I set like the LC, one of the LC underscore variables would probably work, because this all uses icon under the hood. And also, the event has a time zone GMT plus 0, which it doesn't understand. Something has a time zone GMT plus 0, which it doesn't understand.
So if we search for...
Greg says it should use the system time zone / locale, which on this thing will be C, because I haven't set it.
Okay.
Which will be the UTC time zone.
So what I would suggest is where this error message is printed couldn't get a time zone corresponding to. We look at how is it looking for time zones. Maybe it stores. Maybe Simple Agenda has its own time zone.
I quit the wrong app.
It's possible that. It's possible that Simple Agenda is maintaining its own list of time zones for parsing purposes.
Yeah. Right, well, there we go. Date.m. Temporary workaround is to just not use the Nextcloud calendar app interface. Yeah. I mean...
So it's using NS calendar date with the time zone. So NS calendar date, I guess, doesn't know what GMT plus 4 zeros means. Is that... Am I reading that right?
No. It is getting the time zone from the current date, and then it is asking that time zone, what is your description, and then it is asking the libical, please get the built-in time zone that matches the description of the one that it got from the calendar date. So lib... Okay, so Mov01 has given instructions on how you set the local time zone, which I may do as homework. But no, what is happening is that Simple Agenda is asking libical, what time zone do you need to use, given that I'm telling you the time zone is GMT plus 0000. And libical doesn't have an answer to that.
Okay.
And that is happening in the class initialize for the date class. So this has got nothing to do with the data that it's receiving from libical. This is it trying to set up its understanding of the system's time zone on launch.
Right.
So I should be able to do the thing that Mov01 suggests. And GB will be a good enough version for me. And then now we don't get that error because it is able to get a time zone for GB, and now it has moved this event by an hour, and so it's 10 o'clock here because this is set to Europe London, and it's 10 o'clock here because this is set to Europe London. So actually, it is working.
Okay.
So now I remove that comment from the...
Yep.
Is it one twiddle to strike out in Markdown or more?
I think so. You can hit preview.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Good. All right, this is really good progress.
All right, so we fixed 2 bugs with 1 bit of change to the source.
Yep. There we go. And The next bit, I guess, I will take as homework to school up on the calendar discovery API.
Yeah. Now, do you have a also a thing that you can? Well, actually, like if you can give me an SSH key that will allow access to your Nextcloud server, then next week we can also show the backing store and the logs on the stream, and so we can compare data that we are making with changes we're making in the app with data and logs that are appearing in Nextcloud.
So I can do that. I can give you an admin account on my Nextcloud. But the other thing is, I have a Vagrant file that will stand up a Nextcloud and configure it.
Oh, sweet! So we can just set up a test server.
Yep.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
And then we can just run it locally. In fact, I believe that is on GitHub for anybody who wants it. I'm just gonna. We have a minute
nice.
here. And I last used this the other day, so it should be pretty good. Here it is. I'll just write in. There we go. Nope, I will not. Can you copy and paste from Telegram?
No, because I've got Telegram on.
Right.
Well, I can. I can copy
it
it into Twitch chat. But you can copy it into Twitch chat as well.
I'm not in Twitch chat, but I can also just type it out. I need 2 slashes.
You can't even type it out.
1 slash.
Oh dear.
1 more. And then it is. 1 second. It is Vagrant Nextcloud. And that's it. And if you just run that, type Vagrant up, you have a running Nextcloud with an admin user.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So,
great.
Yep, thanks to everyone who has helped on the stream, and also thank you to Greg for demonstrating that I don't know how to build Gorm, or that I don't get it right, even if I do know how to do it, and for fixing Gorm bugs in between streams. So it's all been very helpful. Thank you to everyone who has watched. Please like and subscribe. What else?
I think that's it. Please like and subscribe.
Nice. Okay, yeah, thanks everyone. I haven't put up last week's episode on replay yet. I will do that and this week's episode very soon. Next week we are same time, so we will see you 19th of May. Whatever time that is, 6 p.m. UTC, 1800 UTC, 7 p.m. UK time, 8 p.m. Europe time. Work it out yourself if you're in the States or in any other part of the world.
Great. Thank you, and see you next week.
See ya.